Imagine a tactic where one half of the players play in a structural-based system like Man City, while the other half enjoys the complete freedom to roam wherever they please. At first, this might seem chaotic and challenging to execute, yet it has turned out to be the key ingredient behind Girona's recent success story. Using structures like 3-1-6 and horizontal diamonds, they focus their attack by overloading with 8 or even 9 players constantly moving near the final third. And thanks to these, Girona are able to break some of the strongest defenses in the league and achieved many high-scoring victories on their way.
Would you believe it, Ivan Martin? In stoppage time!
And after getting promotion just a few years back, they are now in the race for the top spot against the likes of Madrid and Barca. So how does Girona's unorthodox system actually works? And what's their secret behind these high-scoring victories? Let's find out in this video. Just 2 years ago, Girona were battling for promotion in the second division, and often played as a typical low-block team which used to sit back and relied on counter-attacks. And due to this, they used to score way less goals and focused more on this. There was a complete shift in Girona's style of play. He not only secured their promotion, but also transformed them from a low-block team into an aggressive high-scoring side. And if you look at his system, Michel typically sets up in a 4-3-3 structure on paper, but as the game progresses, he employs an asymmetric approach. For instance, starting from the right center-back and extending to the right winger, everyone is interconnected with each other. While on left, just like false 9, Girona employs false defenders. Instead of their actual duties, these players roam around and impersonates various roles for the team. For example, the left-back often collaborates with the central mids to effectively function as a third number 10. While the left center-back usually engages in rotational movements to support the left winger. So their structure often transitions from a 4-3-3 into a 3-4-3 shape, where both false players contribute to form a midfield 4, while the pivot drops back to cover their vacated positions. And using this asymmetric pattern, they frequently create numerical superiority when they progress the ball. As the right side follows the structural patterns, the opposition often marks them in a traditional way, with each player closely marking their respective markers. But with the left side being unorganized, the left players are basically given freedom to make runs towards the opposite side. And such movements can effectively create a +1 advantage for Girona, as it maintains an additional passing option, which eventually lead to a numerical advantage over the oppositions and allow them to consistently generate spaces to progress. And during build-up, they adopt an interesting 4+2 pattern, where the back 3 spreads wide and creates space for the goalkeeper to step up as the 4th defender. And simultaneously, the left back and a midfield pivot form the front 2. This often results in a huge overload of 6v4 against the opposition front line, which effectively assists them in playing out of high press and smoothly unlock the space up front. And speaking about space, the most highlighting feature of this tactics is its one-side overloads, in which they tend to move more men on one side of the pitch, but leave their opposite players as it is. And their main objective is to keep the ball active within the overloaded side and try to attract all the opposition markers towards that side as well. This leaves the opposite players completely unmarked. And it's at this moment that Girona executes a quick horizontal pass towards these players. And due to this, it forces the opposition to reset their marking strategy, which consequently creates a clear opportunity for the wide players to break through. And if the left player still stays wide, the right-sided players ultimately stay central and create an aggressive overload near the box. This makes them a dangerous crossing team, as they effectively outnumber the opposition and win the second or third ball near the box to score. And apart from this, Girona also employs a highly aggressive approach in the final third, where they transform in a 3-1-6 shape, which can turn into a 1-3-6 later, in which both the wide defenders joins the pivot, while the rest push up high. And to dismantle the opposition's narrow shape, Girona utilizes a wide diamond pattern, where they creates 4v4 situation on both the flanks, which excellently open up space on all sides of the pitch. For instance, if the ball is played to the left winger, the center mid makes a distracted run towards flanks, leading the opposition to believe he is the intended receiver. Meanwhile, the wide defender advances to become the actual receiver, which then pulls the opposition's central players towards him. This excellently creates space for the forward to receive the final pass and face less markers around him. So this pattern ultimately breaks down the opposition from multiple angles, and it has become a key factor in Girona's high-scoring games this season. And the second benefits of this approach is that it also enhances their ability to counter-press effectively. Girona are the most patient team in terms of creating breakthroughs, as they constantly move the ball around and allow more players to advance. This results in a creation of a high defensive block, which looks opposite but works similar like a low block. So even if they lose the ball up front, they have enough markers to block short passing lanes and ultimately win the ball back. But when they're without the possession, their shape takes a quick turn from an aggressive 3-1-6 into a 4-4-2 or even a 5-3-2 shape, where their false backs finally does their actual role of forming a back four, while their wingers and center mid drops back to create a compact shape, as their primary objective is to close off any central gaps and maintain a narrow horizontal alignment. This effectively eliminates spaces between the lines, thereby restricting the opposition's ability to find breathing rooms within it. But even with this setup, Girona still leak goals, especially during set pieces. If you look at Girona's backline, apart from Lopez, the rest of the defenders are below 6 feet and tend to play more as playmakers than traditional defenders. And because of this, opposition usually target Girona's backline by using crosses or playing long aerial passes forward. So they definitely need a more physical defender who can offer aerial coverage and fulfill the role of winning the ball back. But speaking of roles, Girona's unique asymmetric style wouldn't be possible without the specific roles assigned to these players. And looking at these players, with Girona building up in a 4+2 shape, they usually leave out space for the keeper to get forward and engage in the build-up. So it's ideal for the keeper to play as a sweeper. On the left side, with the full-back transitions into a number 10 and the center-back moving wide to join the winger, they can effectively take on the roles of a libero and an inverted wing-back respectively. At pivot, they have an anchor, who plays a crucial role in initiating quick switches of play from right to left, in which he provides excellent diagonal passes to exploit the left flank. Also, he can cover the positions of both the left back and center backs when they move up front. So essentially, he acts as a bridge between the two sides, maintaining balance in the team's structure. While on the wing, both Savio and Victor usually stays wide to stretch the opposition backline and provide width to the team. Because of their two-way dribbling ability, they can win 1v1 battles and easily pass through the backline. Also, they play a vital role in delivering quality crosses into the box. Finally, up front, the target man Dovbyk has been instrumental in converting crosses into goals this season. His height makes him a serious aerial threat, and he excels at receiving through balls from deep, where he uses his strength to bypass the markers. And after the player rolls, when you look at Girona's player instructions, like Man City, Girona emphasizes attacking mentality, and their second priority is to maintain as much width as possible in order to keep their opposite players intact. And looking at creativity, they adopt a balanced approach, where they employ positional play on right and relational play on the left. And at defense, they play with a very high line, which eventually form their 3-1-6 overload in the final third. And moving into final third, they mostly prefers early crosses and like to work the ball near the box, as Girona are known for their excellent crosses from wide into the overloaded central players. And like Man City, they patiently pass the ball around and wait for the right moment to exploit spaces. Speaking about passing, Girona primarily operates and creates passing networks on right side of the pitch, so their passing focus is predominantly set as right. So it's safe to say that Michel has successfully crafted a tactic where both positional and relational styles can work together. And using this, he has beautifully assigned diverse roles to his players and developed numerous intriguing concepts, which has transformed his team into a formidable force. And being part of the City group, they are well positioned to emerge as the next Spanish giant in the coming years. But speaking of giants, there's an English giant that has awakened after a lackluster last season, and employing intriguing tactics such as rotational triangles and thunder patterns, this team is playing an aggressive brand of football despite losing their key players. So what are these concepts, and how Klopp actually restructuring Liverpool again? I've deeply explained this in this video, so see you there. And if you enjoyed the content, please give it a thumbs up, as it helps me to create more videos like this for you guys.